Pittsburgh Steelers just got some great news from the NFL League office this afternoon that's going to have major ramifications on this year's 2025 offseason. Welcome into Steelers Talk. I'm your host, Jack Sperry. Make sure you guys click that thumbs up icon to kick off today's show if you are excited for free agency. I know I am. The Steelers are going to have quite a bit of cap space to use on veteran players to fill out this roster and try to make this a Super Bowl contender here in the Steel City. So if you're excited about it as I am, click that thumbs up icon and let's get into it today with the great news here, which is that the NFL salary cap is about to explode, ladies and gentlemen. All right, because of all the new broadcasting deals and all these different things with the streaming services that the NFL are bringing in, that means that the salary cap is going to go up and go up by a lot in future seasons. And it's already going to be going up quite a bit this year here. So you guys can take a look at the NFL salary cap per season over the last several years. You guys can see that this thing goes up like 20, 30 million every single season now. And, you know, right now the projection is 277 to somewhere between 281 million, which was announced today by the NFL League office. Dan Graziano broke the news today from ESPN. He says the NFL today informed teams that the 2025 per team salary cap will fall in the range of 277.5 million to 281.5 million, way up from last year's 255.4 million. Cap will have increased by more than 53 million over the last 2 seasons. And, you know, if that wasn't enough here, I thought that Brett Coleman, who is an NFL YouTuber, really put out a really great statement about the future of the salary cap and why it's going to get even larger in the years to come thanks to the streaming services that are getting in on the NFL licensing rights and all this different stuff for broadcasting. This is what Brett had to say on X earlier this week. The salary cap is going to explode again, and it's all because of this change in how Nielsen measures ratings. Starting this year, they are leaning into using data directly from smart TV manufacturers to measure viewing habits in addition to traditional at-home panel method. This means NFL ratings, in particular from Sunday Ticket on YouTube, are going to be more accurately measured. And that number is going to be way bigger than you think because of just how many Gen Z and millennials consume football on streaming services. More accurate ratings means the league's next broadcast rights negotiation in 2028/2029 is going to be way more expensive, which ultimately means massive jumps in the salary cap. If I'm a general manager, that means next year, or maybe even this year, I can sign some truly outrageously backloaded deals with a ton of funny money that all slams home in 2030 and not even care about the math. So essentially what Brett is saying here is that the Pittsburgh Steelers not only are going to have more cap space than expected this season, but they're also going to have a little bit of an expectation that this salary cap is going to get even bigger in years to come. So the Steelers can backload some of the bigger contracts that they signed this offseason to maximize their roster in the short term here to try and win a Super Bowl while Cam Hayward is still in the league. So coming up here, I'm going to be talking about the salary cap breakdown for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm going to be giving you guys the updated figures now that we know the range in which that the salary cap is going to be in for the NFL this year. So don't go anywhere. But first, I want to have a word from our sponsor here at Public Rec. And let's be real for a minute here, guys. Nobody's got time for stiff, uncomfortable clothes anymore. It's February. If you're in Pittsburgh, it's super cold outside. It's even cold here in Texas right now. It's like 20 degrees. And you deserve to be comfortable in whatever you're wearing, no matter what you're doing. That's where Public Rec comes in. These pants are an absolute game changer, ladies and gentlemen. Their pants are designed to be as comfy as your favorite sweats, but way more stylish. We're talking super soft fabric, no stiff seams, and enough stretch to keep up with whatever your day throws at you. Public Rec isn't just about the pants, though. They have so many great style options with their pants line, but also they've got polos, they've got long sleeve shirts, they got all this different stuff on their website that you are going to love. So whether you're working all day in the office, running errands, or just grabbing a drink with the guys, I can tell you guys this right now. Once you put on a pair of these Public Rec pants, you're going to wonder why you got any other brand. They are that good. So this February, stop settling for the same old stuff when it comes to your pants game. Step up your comfort game with Public Rec today. For a limited time only, our listeners can get 20% off your entire order with code CHAT20. That's CHAT20, one word, all caps, CHAT20 as the promo code at Public Rec. publicrec.com. That's 20% off when you use promo code chat20 at publicrec.com. And what's a real game changer with Public Rec pants for me, guys, is that I'm somebody that has a really weird body type, and it's really tough for me to find pants that fit. Because I'm tall and skinny, when I go to department stores, when I get pants online in standard sizing, usually they're either too short or they're too baggy. But with the Public Rec customized sizing options, I can get the perfect fit every single time, and you can as well. So this February, treat yourself right because comfort is always in season. Upgrade to Public Rec and feel the difference today. For a limited time only, you guys can get 20% off at Public Rec by using code CHAT20 at checkout. Just head on over to publicrec.com, use code CHAT20, and you're all set. Oh, and when they ask how you found them, be sure to mention our show, Steelers Talk by Chat Sports. It really does help us out, guys. Find your perfect fit and never compromise on comfort again. Public Rec, where comfort rules. So the current 2025 cap number that the Steelers have at their disposal in terms of cap space, according to Over the Cap right now, is $60,263,766. That currently ranks 8th among NFL teams before all the restructures and cuts that these teams are going to be making. So the Steelers do have top 10 level cap space at their disposal right now. And then when it comes to the effective cap space, which means all the cap space that they have available to use on free agents and via trade, they have over $57 million, which is still 8th in the National Football League. So that's quite a bit of money to have at your disposal here. But I still think Pittsburgh is still going to make some more room here to really be able to load up this roster with really high-end talent heading into the 2025 season. I think that they're going to make these cuts right here. I think they're still going to cut Larry Ogunjobi and save $7 million. I think that they'll cut Cole Holcomb and save another $6 million. Cordero Patterson to save another $2.8 million. And then I think Corliss Waitman did a really good job last year as the starting punter when Cam Johnston went down with that really unfortunate injury in week 1. And Johnston, you can actually save more money by cutting him. So if I were the Steelers, I would move on from Johnston after that really serious injury he suffered last year. That saves you another $1.5 million. And then some potential restructures here with 2 established stars for the Pittsburgh Steelers that are on big contracts already. Alex Highsmith, you can save another $7.8 million if you restructure his deal this offseason. I don't see any reason why they wouldn't, especially with the cap exploding the way that it's going to over the next several seasons. And then same thing with Pat Freiermuth. You can save $7.2 million if you restructure his deal this offseason. So when you combine all of those added funds to already the 8th most cap space in the National Football League, Pittsburgh could get up to $89.5 million in effective cap space for this season, which obviously is a lot of money to use on potentially a future quarterback, to use on a wide receiver, to use on another starting corner, to beef up the defensive line. All the things that this team needs to address this offseason, they're going to have the money to address those needs. And I think that Omar Khan is about to get in his bag, guys. I think that this guy right here, yes, he didn't do the best job getting the right receiver in the wide receiver room last year. That was a big failure on his part. But I think that he has shown that he is willing to be extremely aggressive. He comes from that Howie Roseman school of GMing where, you trade, you be extremely aggressive, you really prioritize the trenches. And I think that's what Omar Khan is going to do this offseason with the cap space available at his disposal. I think he's going to be extremely aggressive to try and make this the best team it can possibly be in 2025. And here's some of the major team needs. There's other kind of smaller needs that the Steelers have on their roster this year, but these are really the big 5 for the Pittsburgh Steelers that they have to address this offseason. They have to get a quarterback. They have to figure out the running back room. They need to supplement their wide receiver room. They need another starting outside corner on the other side of Joey Porter Jr. And honestly, they need another slot corner as well. And then they need to beef up the depth on their defensive tackle room with Cam Hayward looking like he's going to retire here in the next 2 years. Larry Ogunjobi getting cut. Those are 2 starters that are not going to be, still in the starting rotation in 2 years' time. So you're going to have to beef up that unit as well. But the good news is, guys, is that Pittsburgh can easily address all of those needs with the almost $90 million that I'm projecting that they're going to have an effective cap space this year. Now, I will say, keep in mind here, folks, that, the more cap space that there is available to NFL teams, that means bigger contracts, bigger deals for free agents. So, the old standards of what positions are worth, it's it's going to completely change with the new math and the percentages of what those dollars mean according to these NFL cap numbers that are continuing to go up and up and up. So I think that it's time to go all in, and I think that's what the Steelers are going to do this offseason. Cam Hayward, has been a cornerstone of this franchise ever since he was drafted out of Ohio State, and he's been one of the greatest players in the history of this organization. Still doesn't have a Super Bowl championship. He is now in the final 2 years of his career. He has said he wants to play 2 more years and retire. Also, TJ Watt obviously does not have a Super Bowl championship. Minkah Fitzpatrick, who this team really loves, doesn't have a Super Bowl championship. Mike Tomlin, Omar Khan, Art Rooney II, the owner, they're all trying to get this current collection of Steelers players that deserve to win a ring a championship. So I think they're really gearing up to go all in. They're going to get the quarterback that they need to go get. They're going to go get the wide receiver help that they need to go get. And they're going to try to become one of the most complete rosters in the National Football League in 2025. And I think that they have the resources to do just that. And yes, I do think that they can afford to go out and trade and then give a new contract to Matthew Stafford. All right, I think that Stafford is at the point in his career where he wants to win championships. I think if the Steelers want to pay him $40 million per season, they could even do that. All right, we really break down all the financial stuff and why I think it makes sense for the Pittsburgh Steelers to trade for Matthew Stafford. He is the best case scenario, in my opinion, at the quarterback position for this football team in 2025. I think he's going to end up back with the Rams, but I break it all down in a video we put out earlier this week. I'll put the link to that one in the comments and description of today's show so you guys can see my thoughts on Matthew Stafford to the Pittsburgh Steelers next season. So predict it for me down there in the comments section. What is going to be the biggest move that Omar Khan, the GM, makes for the Pittsburgh Steelers here in 2025? Let me know down there in the comment section what you think that big move is going to be. For me personally, I think the one that's going to be making the most headlines is that I think they're going to bring in Aaron Rodgers. I know that's not going to be a very popular move with the fan base if that's what they end up doing. I do think if Matthew Stafford is made available via trade, the Steelers will be extremely aggressive to try and go get him. But I also think that Mike Tomlin is going to have a certain affiliation for Aaron Rodgers, who he has been flirting with publicly for years at this point. He's been very, very complimentary of Aaron's game. So I think that the biggest move and the biggest storyline heading into next year for the Steelers is going to be Aaron Rodgers is going to be the starting quarterback, but it's still very early in the process here. So make sure you guys click that subscribe button if you haven't already. Really do appreciate all of your guys' support. Almost $90 million in cap space if the Steelers make these moves that I suggested on today's show. There's going to be a lot of moves made by the Black and Gold this offseason, guys. So make sure you click that subscribe button to never miss any of our breaking news coverage for every single big move that the Steelers make this offseason. Until tomorrow, guys, here we go, Steelers.